Thursday, July 13th. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, a new game, The Legend of Zelda.
Let's do this.
Sweet Jesus, we're back from Kineticon.
Yep.
That was it's one thing to do like 8 or 9 panels at a con. It's another thing to take over an entire panel room for an entire con. It is yet another thing to be the heads of panels for an entire con.
Usually the heads of panels don't actually do any panels. So having to do panels and be the head of panels was quite...
Well, actually, it wouldn't have been so bad. The only trouble we ran into, which will be rectified for next year, is that we had to deal with all situations and be doing panels, which meant I had an earpiece on while I was doing panels, and periodically I would be interrupted and have to go respond to something.
Yeah, we got to do something about that.
I already sorted that out. We're getting an operational head to handle that radio.
Yeah, we need a radio like at a desk.
Yeah, but we'll talk more about Kineticon on Thursday, because Kineticon, it's not really a gaming con or an anime con, though it has everything awesome about both anime and gaming cons at it. But really, it's kind of an everything con, so Thursday is really the only place for it.
No, that's all right. Kill off a Thursday episode with a con review.
Mustn't kill Thursday episodes.
Yeah, we should.
Plus, I'm pretty much done with the book club book.
Oh, wow. That'll be like the fastest book club ever.
Yeah.
What are the listeners going to do? They're not done reading it. There's no way.
I guess we'll have to wait at least a couple more Thursdays.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yep.
All right.
You got anything? Anything fancy? Anything going on?
Well, we went to Kineticon and I wasn't able to get laundry done before we went. So I was going to do it last night.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so I go down to do some laundry and I put in one of the laundry machines, they have a screen that tells you...
This is really... You're going to keep going with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a screen that tells you how much money you got to put in. So I go to the first one and the screen is off, which is weird.
Ah.
So I put a money in and it says, okay, add another $1. So I put in a second money. Nothing happens. And then it resets and it's like, yeah, give me $1.25. And I'm like, what? I'm like pushing the coin return. Nothing. I already put my clothes and detergent in there, by the way.
All right. So was the detergent, because there's 2 situations. Situation 1, you put the clothes in, put the detergent in the top. If you fail, you pull the clothes out. Situation 2, certain kinds of washers. Detergent is already leaking onto the clothes.
The detergent is not leaking on the clothes.
It is past the point of no return. You, son, are fucked.
No, the detergent is not on the clothes.
I did that once not that long ago.
So anyway, I go again. And I go to the second washer, which looks like the screen was on. It was looking normal. I put a quarter in, nothing happens. Like, how could both washers be broken? So I called the super today, and he said he was going to fix the guy was coming to fix the washers today. So I'll do laundry when I get home tonight. But here's the thing that happened.
All right.
I bring the baskets back upstairs, and I just put them on the floor because I'm going to drag them back downstairs, as soon as they're fixed. Or maybe to a laundromat, or who knows.
Usually I'll just leave my stuff down in the laundry room if all the washers are all being used.
Yeah, there's only 2 in my, so I bring it back upstairs. Anyway, I'm in bed, I'm reading some stuff. And, I get up, I go to the bathroom, and I notice that the detergent bottle is upside down in the laundry basket. So I'm like, oh, I better turn it upside right. It was not a complete disaster because it is a big thing of detergent. If the whole thing were to spill out, it would be doom.
What's tough is, what are you going to clean that up with? I mean, water?
Yeah, there was basically it was in the basket.
I spilled a bit of detergent in the trunk of that Sunfire I used to have. It was there until the day I got rid of that car.
Yeah, there's basically a millimeter of, detergent. It was only a little bit, like less than a cup, but, I basically had to take all the clothes that got detergent on them out. I put them I cleaned out the kitchen sink, and then I pretty much watered them in the kitchen sink until they were detergentless.
I don't know if we've just been doing Geek Nights so long that it's just like a job or what, but that was perhaps the most mundane anecdote we have ever had on this show.
What's mundane about it?
Hey, Geek Nights! Yeah, I was trying to do laundry.
The detergent spilled. It was crazy.
Usually we got things like, and it exploded, or a hobo came in. There was a hobo hanging out.
I hung up my shorts.
Hobo living in the washer.
I hung them all up to dry in the bathroom, and then I put the laundry basket in the sink to clean the detergent out of it.
Is this still going?
Yeah. And now I got to go home and see what the situation is.
All right.
I might be up all night doing laundry.
I feel like now I got at least... So I'll pull this out of the Kineticon show on Thursday. I got an anecdote from Kineticon. Hopefully we'll bring this back on
Laundry
track.
related?
Not at all. So we had stuff scheduled, right? And we had a little half hour looking for game workshop, which was scheduled over in these workshop rooms. And, you know, our friend like Wyatt and a bunch of the game masters and all these people were going to go over there and tell people like, hey, if you want to play a game, play Puerto Rico or Burning Wheel. Hey, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm really tired. I'm kind of dazed. I'm wrecked from the whole con. I walk into a panel room. A panel's about to start in a half hour, but it is currently the time when the looking for game panel is starting in another room. As there's all these people in this room, and I look at him, I'm like, oh, you're here for the looking for game panel, right? And no one says anything. I'll just kind of look at me. So I'm like, oh, well, sorry, no one's here. Give me a second. I come back in, and for a half hour, I run this panel. I'm like, hey, if you're looking, I just ran it myself, covering. At no point in my tirade did anyone have the courtesy to tell me that no, they were in fact waiting for a completely different panel and that I was in fact in the wrong room. Mm-hmm. I think that's a better anecdote.
They didn't care?
They liked it, actually. A bunch of them said they're going to go play these games, but I didn't.
So what, were you in the wrong room?
Yeah, I was in the wrong room. I was in panel 5 and I should have been in workshop 1. Workshop 1 or 2 or whatever was handled by Wyatt as he should have handled it.
Uh-huh.
I also got to give props to Wyatt because I gave him that stupid radio, like the con radio, for like 3 hours on Saturday, right as a million people were calling for Rim.
Whatever.
I was like, Wyatt, everyone's asking for me. Pretend you're me and sort it out. And then I disappeared.
Okay.
It's game night, Tuesday night. Scott's a little, tired.
Bleh.
Bleh. Why are you so bleh?
Because I was trying to do my laundry and go to bed, but then I had to wash a bunch of clothes in the sink.
How long could that possibly have taken?
It took a while. The detergent doesn't come out easy. It takes a lot of water.
So you got any gaming news? I don't know.
There's no gaming news, but I do have.
There is some gaming news. PAX West, PAX Prime is pretty much going to be sold out any minute. So if you haven't bought your passes and you want to go, it's probably too late.
Why didn't you buy the pass when they originally went on sale?
Also, I'll point out, if you bought your passes, but you haven't done your travel arrangements yet, it's about the time when doing flight arrangements around now is not so bad. That's perfectly reasonable. There's only one hotel left because I just logged in to change something to my hotel reservation, and there's one hotel left.
Yeah, I don't know why people wait so long. It's like it's what, 2 months from now, less than 2 months, right?
People just don't think.
You should have had this when they announce the dates for the convention. That's the day.
No, only if the hotel blocks are set up. You don't want to.
But I'm just saying, you buy the badge at least, right? You don't wait. If you decided to go. Decide to go and go.
It seems like a lot of people don't actually decide to go until later. Or they say...
If you don't decide yes right away, then the answer is no.
No, or they say, I will go, but... And then there's some sort of precondition that they can't decide right away.
If you have a precondition, the answer is no, you're not going to make it. Someone else is going to make it.
What it really comes down to is... And what I'm about to say, all of you out there could easily just come back and say, no, Rim, this is just because you have a ton of money. A lot of people don't have the money to pre-register right away. What was the one kid in the forum who's like... Yeah, I don't get paid until Thursday. Oh, crap.
Why don't you have a credit card?
Not getting into that. A lot of people, just reading kind of the Otakon forums and everything, they do, their primary concern is they don't have enough money to actually get the badge early enough.
If you don't
save up.
If you don't have that much money, don't go.
No, that's not it. You do have that much money because I used to be so poor, I couldn't even really afford to eat at anime conventions. And I with no money and basically nothing to my name, because I wanted it, I got that money for the Otakon badge somehow. Somehow, man, I actually didn't pay rent that month. Literally, I didn't pay rent, and I had money to go to Otakon as a result.
The point is that if, don't listen to Rim, right? You just listen to me, the reasonable person.
If you're in university, you can get away with not paying rent.
If you're in a situation where, $50, which is usually, a pretty high price for a con badge. Usually if you order them early enough, it's 30, 40-ish, right? If $50 is an amount of money that you have to tear yourself over, you're not confident, you don't just have $50, you probably shouldn't be spending your money on a convention. That's probably an irresponsible thing to do. You should probably be using your money for food and rent.
We're used to the hotels
bills.
being, several $100s. But remember the old days when we were poor? All people in the crew were various levels of poorness. We'd go to Otakon, and I remember we calculated, if you stay in the Renaissance, 8 people can sleep in each room.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty cheap to go to a con. If you cram 8 people in, and you basically eat nothing but garbage for the entire weekend.
The point is that if $50 is tight for you, conventions are not the thing you should be doing unless it happens to be like in your town or something like that.
See, I still say $50. You should forego more important things and go to the con if you want it that badly. I wanted Otakon more than I wanted to continue to have an apartment.
Eating well is and sleeping in a comfortable, warm, sheltered place is more important than going to a convention of which there will be one for every year the rest of your life.
So Scott, if you had to face some sort of small period of homelessness at some point in your past, but as a result would have had gone to all the PAXs as opposed to just the ones we went to, what if you would have had to been homeless for a month while you were at RIT, and then for that you went to every PAX up to that point?
Yeah, no, I would not be homeless.
No?
No.
Why not? Just stay on someone's couch.
Oh, well, I was talking about sleeping out in the woods.
That's more my side of the mountain, homeless.
Or sleeping on the street. I mean, if I'm on someone's couch, I'm not really homeless, am I?
So no gaming news? You got nothing?
No, I have a non-gaming news.
All right.
But it is a huge news. You ready for this? I don't know. I don't know why you didn't pick this as your news. You obviously probably didn't go and look at any headlines.
All right. I know a lot about news. Part of my job is to know what's going on.
All right, this is a huge news because this is almost the level of partying news. It is almost level of DMCA struck down partying news. It is like one level.
Oh, you're talking about the FCC thing.
It is one level under that news.
You're talking about Massachusetts and the FCC thing?
FCC indecency rules struck down by appeals court. How often?
Which court, Scott? Is it my man?
Let us go and see what. Well, actually,
is it the Ninth Circuit Court?
No, the Ninth Circuit Court actually did a dick move. The other did the dick move on the first sale, right?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that.
No, I don't. It doesn't say. Let's see. U.S. Circuit Court Judge Rosemary Pooler.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either, but I know that she's a U.S. Circuit judge.
I remember Slashdot actually, they had an article that talked about that and the Massachusetts law that basically says anything that could be harmful to minors and this vague description of it can't be on the internet if minors could ever see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, basically, they said, hey, look, this is so vague, right? The big problem with it was the vagueness, right? Because it's like the guidelines weren't specific enough. It's like, okay, so it's okay to do this, but it's not okay to do that.
75% or more of a nipple from a front on to 30-degree angle. we need laws like that.
Yeah. So basically they were like, look, this is too vague.
And the side nipple should be totally
okay.
okay.
And let's see, a ruling that the policy was, quote, unconstitutionally vague and created a, quote, chilling effect.
Well, fuck.
Chilling effect, unconstitutionally vague, get it out of here. Now, can we please get some other thing? Now, this is great. I mean, how often is it that we actually get rid of one of these shitty laws?
Well, it's gonna get appealed.
It's not even a law. It's a regulation.
It's gonna get appealed.
Of course, but this was an appeal, so we'll see what they said. They felt confident the Supreme Court would, I'm
confident the Supreme Court is going to do whatever causes the least change. The Supreme Court has really been ballsless for the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. It's like whenever anything, if you look lately, whenever anything goes to the Supreme Court, they'll basically here's an opportunity to make a big, to make a big ruling that will set a good precedent. We're going to do as little as possible. There'll be a case about some guy with Miranda rights or whatever, and they'll be like, yeah, he's guilty. Okay.
Where's John Marshall when we need him?
I don't know.
I would give anything to bring John Marshall back from the dead and just throw him in the court and be like, hey, fix everything.
He's dead.
Yeah, we got to get him back somehow.
Well, we should just have John Marshall II. He had kids, right? I mean...
So I was hanging out in the, I guess we'll have to hold out and see what happens with this, because if it makes it all the way and we win, I think it deserves an entire show.
The whole show?
I think so.
I don't know. We couldn't...
The show will just be vuvuzelas and me going, woo! Fuck!
Your mom. Hopefully, I hope this means that we can, they'll be swearing on TV tomorrow, right? Is South Park going to say fuck in the next episode? I mean,
South Park isn't going on even right now?
I don't know.
I don't think there's been an episode since the whole Muhammad thing.
How do they... I don't know what
by the way, if you guys didn't realize, the little Geeknights guy, our logo, he is actually a depiction of the Prophet Muhammad of the Islam faith.
You just
So-
decided that right now.
So I was in the panel ops room, well, really the con ops room of Kineticon, right? And Scott was up dealing with some crisis, and I'm working on something. And one of the ops people who's like monitoring all the computers, and he's also got Firefox open because there's not, fires to put out all the time. He says, Civ V Deluxe box, $100. And there are like 8 staffers in the room. We all simultaneously say, shit, I already pre-ordered. And then we all walk over and see. And yeah, sure enough, there's $100 like Civ 5 awesome box. And I didn't think I'd want it, but now that I'm looking at a picture of it, this Art Deco kind of like aesthetic that it's got going.
I don't see this on Steam.
It's not on Steam as far as I can tell. Not yet. I don't even know if it's available to purchase.
Well, if it's not the Steam one, why do I want it?
Basically, it's $100 and it comes with a big art book, like a hardcover art book, 5 pewter or some sort of metal like casts of military units from the game, and the soundtrack. And I think that's all I think there's a DVD behind the scenes thing too, and that's it.
All right, big deal.
And it costs double.
Yeah, not worth it. I just want the
So
game.
what would have
the
made
game
it worth
is
it?
the same, right?
So Scott, yeah, the game's the same. So what would have made the $100 bonus pack worth it?
You also get Civilization 6.
I don't know. I just want a wall-size poster of Washington from the art in the game.
Just print one out.
Wall size, I need a high-resolution copy.
Go down to any of those printing guys in the city.
No, I need a high-resolution master, or you can't just blow stuff up, Scott.
You can just get it right out of the game.
Depends on how high-resolution it is.
Usually, like Civilization, actually, the games have a tendency, like the game itself obviously isn't open source, but usually like all this, like the resources in the game, I'll be like OGG audio or Python,
No, Scott, I'm
config
talking like a
files
6-foot-tall poster.
Right, so you would get the 3D model out of the game, which you could probably load it into something, and then, just render it out.
It's hard to say.
It is hard to say.
Yeah.
But maybe.
Imagine if it came with a 6-foot poster of like your choice, 5 of the leaders from the game. I just love that Washington so much. I want him to tuck me in at night. I want him like glaring at me while I'm asleep, keeping the British away. Washington.
Washington.
So things of the day. I'll often cop out with the college humor because they're, pretty much there's always something worth seeing every day on the college humor videos. But that's kind of lame. Smart listeners know to just go to college humor and watch that stuff. So, And the secret is that when I need something on a cop out, I just go to BB Spot because no one goes to BB Spot.
He goes to the old websites of a decade ago, like Slashdot and BB Spot and Meme
Because
Pool
no one goes there, and BB Spot, like within a given week, there'll be one thing on BB Spot that wasn't everywhere else.
I can't believe that site still updates. I wonder what kind of traffic
Who
it
goes
gets.
to BB Spot?
You do.
You know what doesn't update? Meme Pool.
Meme Pool's been dead for a
I
long
kind
time.
of wish it would. I liked Meme Pool back in the day. It was kind of a weird and eclectic thing, but I think that whole idea is obsolete. But anyway, this is an odyssey through what happens when you look something up on Wikipedia and you start following the links on Wikipedia to other links. So I'm going to tell you a short story. It's the melancholy of Peter Puck.
Okay.
You know who Peter Puck is?
His last name is Puck. That's pretty...
No, his last name is not Puck.
Oh.
His name is Peter Pocklington.
Oh, okay.
So I'll preface this by saying there's only one person, one name on the Stanley Cup, Lord Stanley's Cup, that was after the fact X'd out. There are X's engraved over
why don't they just sort of, smooth it out?
You really can't do that.
Why not?
I don't want to get into the details. They can't do that.
Well, you get some heat and you melt this little bit of silver into the cracks.
Yeah, you're going to risk ruining the Stanley Cup.
And then you polish it and, get some sanding in there. And
it's
then
not,
some buffing.
Scott, do you know anything about silversmithing?
Buffing.
No, it's engraved pretty deeply. Have you seen the Stanley Cup?
Give me a Dremel. I'll take it out.
Yeah. Anyway, there is an X engraved into every single letter of one and only one name on the Stanley Cup.
So they put an X over each letter instead of just a line through the whole thing?
Yes, they really wanted to get rid of it.
Okay.
And there are like 12 or 13 other like tiny typos all over it. And there's a whole history of like all the different things.
They just fucking fix it.
Well,
Don't
why?
make a mistake in the first place.
Well, it's not easy to get rid of these mistakes, and also since they've been there, and since the replicas are replicas of it, it's like kind of like the history. Like this is this mistake, this is when this happened, this is this guy, and
I'm
if you
sure
want,
if a guy makes a mistake, they get a new fucking jeweler. I mean, you don't
actually, there's been there's whole stories about like how they couldn't afford to get another band once they filled up the first band back in the day.
What?
Yeah, the story of the Stanley
hockey
Cup is
people didn't
crazy.
Have enough money.
No, they didn't. And when there was the strike, there's actually a space where they engraved "No one won" because there was the strike. No one played hockey.
I thought that they just sort of didn't put anything.
No, there's this whole like
Because they
crazy.
write every time they add a new one, they write the year on it, right?
Yeah,
So it should just be like 2000 whatever, and then if there's a
no,
strike,
it actually says there was nothing this year. Like they made a point of being like, look, you assholes, look what you did. Because remember, it's kind of a record. It's like an engraving. This is the record of the Lords of the Realm, or at least the Lords of Hockey.
So why doesn't it just have my name every time?
You can't even skate.
I'm the Lord of the Realm, though.
So if you look at the names on the Stanley Cup, there is crazy stuff there. Like they're the first woman on
My
the
name
Stanley
is
Cup.
8 ==
Marguerite Norris was the president of the Detroit Red Wings in 1954 and 1955, and they happened to win the Stanley Cup both those years. So she was the first woman to have her name on the Stanley Cup, and she got it on there twice. One guy has his name on it 17 times.
Did he win 17?
Jean Beliveau.
He just kept switching to teams that won?
No, 10 is a player, and then 7 is management. Like coach.
Trickery.
And also Vladimir Konstantinov, also on the Red Wings. If you read through, a surprising number of the like weird stories about the Stanley Cup are Detroit Red Wings, original 6 and everything.
Yeah, I mean, original 6 teams are going to have, the predominant, coverage on the Stanley Cup because other teams weren't even around on the early rings.
Yep. But they're like there's engravings inside the bowl of the original cup because ran out of room and people didn't know what to do. One team that won a whole bunch of times never engraved their name on it. Konstantinov, who was on the Detroit Red Wings, and they won the Stanley Cup after the huge drought in 1997. He didn't play the full 40 games because he was horribly crippled in a limousine accident during the season.
Mm-hmm.
But they went on to win, and the NHL basically said while he didn't play 40 games, he is going to get a special dispensation, and his name is on there anyway.
Uh-huh.
They even brought him out in a wheelchair, and he held it up, and it was a really emotional moment for the team.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about Peter Puck, a.k.a. Peter Pocklington.
Okay.
He was basically a colorful, popular, happy dude, one of the wealthiest men in Canada in the 80s, like super rich guy. In 1982, he basically lived through a tiny Canadian version of Die Hard. Him and his wife were kidnapped and held hostage by a man in this gigantic, hostage ransom scheme.
All right.
Police raided and saved him, and the only person wounded in the raid was him, who was shot by the police by accident.
Okay. Was he dead?
No, he was fine.
Okay.
So, some years later, he got some infamy. He was the manager of the LA Kings. And he said, you know what? Let's get rid of Wayne Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one who did that.
Yeah.
A little while later, he owned the Oilers, and he kept threatening to sell them to the United States. More recently, federal marshals invaded his home in the U.S. multiple times. He currently has numerous lawsuits against him. He seems to owe at least $20 million, but claims he only has $3,000 to his name.
Oh, he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay.
Right now, he's in jail, and his bail is set at $1 million.
Dude, if I won the lottery, I would get him out of jail just for lols.
So he's a colorful dude, and there's this crazy history behind him. Big hockey guy, big industry guy. He was, in fact, in charge of Gainers Food during the Gainers union issues.
Mm-hmm.
The Gainers strike?
No.
You have no idea about that?
No clue.
It was a pretty important labor prop. Basically, he was on the bad team.
Okay.
But all this aside, Peter Pocklington's name is not on Lord Stanley's Cup. His father's name, Basil Pocklington, mysteriously appeared on the Stanley Cup.
How could it
When his name was supposed to, he was supposed to go on the cup, and he submitted the list of his team.
So he was the manager of a team, and the team won.
He submitted the list, and he just put his dad's name in with all the players, and no one noticed, and it was there. And when the NHL found out, they were like, no, X's for you.
So wait, so they caught it before. So wait, they caught it when it
No,
was
it
on
was
the
already
list?
engraved. It was done. So they went back and they engraved X's into every letter of Basil Pocklington's name. He's the only person ever redacted from the Stanley Cup.
Right, so then his name was Peter Pocklington?
Yeah, it's still there.
He never got his name on there?
No, he was the one who tricked, and he lied. He was like, I don't know how my dad's name got on the list. The engraver must have made a mistake.
So they just never, so he's got his dad's name on there. His dad's name got X'd off, but then they didn't put his name on there either.
His name's on there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He should have been on there.
Yeah, but you don't want him on there. I figured they could have kept him off because he was a jerk.
Yeah, but he's also beloved, at least according to Wikipedia.
What? Beloved by who? Jerks?
I guess Edmonton?
This
I
is
don't
a
know.
jerk store called. They're all out of Pocklington. He's in jail.
Well, of course. I mean, you're the biggest seller. So you should check out the Wikipedia article on Lord Stanley's Cup. And that is my thing of the day.
All right, my thing today is...
I didn't expect to be interrupted that many times in the course of this.
My thing today is perhaps the, I don't know, the most divisive video ever posted on the internets.
Cat Attacks Kid?
But it is so epic, right? That like, I don't even know what to make of it, but it's got 8.5 million views on YouTube. I think it needs...
Yakugo Junichi?
Oh, no, wait, no, it doesn't. It has 345,000 views. It needs 8.5 million views.
Wait, so where did you just make that number up?
No, I was looking at the wrong video.
Uh-huh. So what video has 8.5 million views?
Just the actual video for I Will Survive, the song.
Oh, okay.
But this is a video obviously using the song I Will Survive. But in the video, there is a man, his daughter, and his 3 grandchildren. And they are dancing, and the I Will Survive song is playing. And they dance in front of many locations. It's one of those, multiple location videos. Like, when Luke Burge does the juggling in many locations with the song. Or when the guy was dancing in multiple locations
so far,
around the world.
Nothing controversial, nothing interesting.
All of the locations are either Nazi concentration camps or, memorials or other such places.
All right.
But the man is a Holocaust survivor. So it's like, whoa.
So, epic win. What else can I say?
But half the internet is like, I don't know if this is offensive or awesome. They can't tell.
I don't know about half the internet because I had no idea this was going on.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what it is.
So apparently 350,000 people have their opinions on this.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's going to be...
I will survive.
Yeah.
Wait, is it the original song or the cake version?
No, it's the original.
Okay. All right, now Scott's playing it. So the meta moment. If you can tell, we're kind of dragging here. We just got back from Kineticon. We're a little wrecked.
I'm still wrecked.
This is definitely one of those crab people shows. But the meta moment, the book club book, is The Lies of Loch Lamora, which was also recommended to be read.
You think
by...
it's Lamora? I think it's Lamora.
I don't know. Lamora sounds because it flows like The Lies of Loch Lamora.
I think it's Lies of Loch Lamora is better. Better in the mouth.
It's weird because he doesn't really lie that much except in specific cons. He's actually 100% truthful all the rest of the time.
That's why he's awesome.
We're going to be at the Penny Arcade Expo.
Labor Day weekend 2010 in Seattle.
We cannot announce all of the programming we're doing because it has not been.
I don't think we can announce any programming.
Yeah, we can because now we've officially 2 of our panels are already set. We are going to be doing a panel called Egregiously Unrealized Potential.
All right.
Which I think you can get that. I call that ActRaiser the panel.
Okay.
And we're doing game mechanics and mechanism design. Basically, every panel we've done up to this point in gaming has been kind of we talk about some topic and we always come back to game mechanics and mechanism design. And every time, all the feedback we get basically comes down to, yep, that was awesome, but could you go into more detail? Or we're just going to go hardcore and see if PAX can handle it.
We'll find out.
And other programming is, of course, TBA, but we got 1 or 2 more things in the hopper.
Alrighty.
PAX East, we're going to be doing stuff at.
No kidding. Out. Anime Boston.
New York Comic Con, New York Anime Festival, and the Burning Wheel 10-10-10 are all on the weekend of October 8th.
9th and 10th.
Yes.
Oh, and October 8th is happens to be a Nerd NYC board game night.
Also,
this Friday is a Nerd NYC board game night.
July 16th, Nerd NYC Thinks Cafe. You should totally come check it out. We'll be there.
Think there's an August and September one, but you can go to the Nerd NYC website and find out. And on Monday, there's some sort of gaming thing I'm going to. It's got like the CEO of Take-Two is going to be there. It's on Kotaku. I don't know. It seems pretty interesting. It's $10. It's downtown. Why not? I think that's enough meta. Yes?
I think so. Energy levels are low. We got to bring them back up.
Uh-huh. So, why everybody old man attack? I am giving the secret, but you still try old man attack.
Gonna do a show on high space.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder if it's updated.
It's not updated, but it still exists.
All right. This was Scott's idea.
Oh, so you're just not gonna say anything?
No.
No. But basically, I went through and I'm like, we need something to do a show on that we've played, and we haven't played anything recently. So it's got to be, something old.
What are you talking about? I've been playing Counter-Strike almost every day.
We've done a show on that, though.
Yeah.
So it has to be something we haven't done a show on.
Actually, I was playing on Militia.
And I bought a new board game, but Rim hasn't played it, and I only played the solitaire version of it. So
It's basically Yahtzee.
you don't know that it's good. Trust me.
I know, but I read the Board Game Geek reviews, and people are like, yeah, it's Yahtzee. It wears thin.
It doesn't wear thin. It was pretty good.
We'll see.
Even by myself, it was fun.
We'll see.
Anyway, right. So I'm like, hey, what about like the absolute basics? Like, have we done a show on fucking Zelda 1? And sure enough, we had done a show on Four Swords, and that is it. We had never done a show on Zelda 1.
So what's interesting is that, all right, finally, Geeknights, we're going to have this show on The Legend of Zelda, straight up. And we start talking about the game more than halfway through the show.
That's fine.
I'm surprised you're all even still listening at this point, or you're just anticipating, you're waiting. You want us, what are you going to say? You get the Triforce.
So, yeah. You
saw that?
You get it twice. Anyway, no, so I got, thing is Zelda 1, like, I still think it is the best Zelda. No one else does, but I do.
I still think Zelda 2 is the best Zelda.
No one agrees. Even less people agree with you than agree with me.
Of course, they're in different genres. Like, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 felt like they were different genres from the control and from a lot of aspects. But in many ways, they're also the same genre of, explore this world, get the Triforce pieces or something of that ilk, go save the princess in some manner, beat bosses along the way.
Most people will say that Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past is the best one.
But I think they're in a different genre. They opened up this whole different idea of what a Zelda game would be.
Mm-hmm. I think that what makes Zelda 1 simultaneously great, but also so painful for anyone who's never played it before to play it now, is that it really doesn't give you like the helping hints so much as.
Are you kidding? It has a full color instruction book with a comic in it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most people who play it today are not going to get those things, right? Like when I got Zelda 1, first of all, I had some extra knowledge because I had watched other people play it on their Nintendos. So I had that hidden. I had those secrets unveiled.
Wow, I started from nothing.
I also had, it came with a map of like the beginning area of the game that helped me out a lot. It came with, all this stuff and it came with an instruction book that had all sorts of information in it.
You might not recall this, but remember the beauty of The Legend of Zelda. The map that came in the instruction book showed you where you start, and it showed you where level 1 is, right?
It even showed you, I think, where level 2 and 3 were.
It shows you where level 2 is, but it does not show you how to get to the spot to get into level 2.
Uh-huh.
So you have to go around outside of this map they've given you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, check that out. That is some good, give the kid a hint, but then make him
go into the unknown.
no.
That's the map that's in the book.
That's what I said.
Oh, see, mine came with...
I had that too.
Mine came with a separate map that was on its own piece of paper. That was quite impressive. And it showed you, the location of certain things, like the power bracelet, I think, was even on that map. It was a very high-quality map.
But what people also forget is that if you look at the story in the beginning of the book, there is, in fact, a map of the entire game right there.
Yeah, but it is not a detailed enough map, but it is a high-quality map.
Actually, if you look at it, the map is detailed enough to figure out how to get to anywhere in the game.
Really?
It even shows you where that secret shit is way off on the right.
Yeah. The thing is, right, is that if you look at a modern Zelda game, say, for example, I don't know, Twilight Princess, right? You get the hook shot. Every place that you can use the hook shot, clearly has, a hook shot thing. It's like, here, you can hook shot right to this spot. It's like they don't keep any secrets about it, It's not like you have to experiment hookshotting. You just have to look around and you'll be able to see any hookshotable spots. It's the same thing with the bow and arrow. There'll be a fucking eyeball if you can shoot it with the bow and arrow. In Zelda 1, I mean, occasionally they might put some cracks in the walls where you could bomb, but there are plenty of places you could bomb that look just like every other wall. They didn't stand out in any way, shape, or form.
Don't forget the second quest where you could also just walk through certain walls.
Yeah, you can just walk right through the wall. So you have to try to walk through every single wall that you come across that isn't already, that walks into the black part of the map, just to make sure that there isn't like a secret room back there.
Well, I think part of it is that for us at least, for the generation that played Zelda 1, there was nothing to compete with it. I mean, every other game, like there was no game, there was nothing even close to this. And it really, even the creator, like it was, the idea was you're exploring like you're a kid in the woods and you're exploring.
With a ton of free time.
This is a game to explore. But while it seems so like opaque and obtuse to a lot of modern gamers, this instruction book, like you read it and it gives you all these kind of oblique hints. Like it doesn't tell you straight up where to find the bosses in all the dungeons, but it names all the dungeons and it shows you the shape of like a monster or a thing. And if you explore these dungeons, you start to realize that they all follow the shapes intuitively.
Yeah, most of the dungeons, like the bad guy is in the nose or the eyeball or,
and do you remember the names of all the dungeons?
I don't remember the names of the dungeons, but I can tell you the names of the bosses.
All of them?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right, level 1, Aquamentus.
What?
Level 2, Dodongo.
All right.
Level 3, oh God, I know it.
You're forgetting Manhanla?
Yes, God damn it, I knew it, but I didn't know it. Anyway, level 4 is the Hydra, and his name is...
Come on.
Gliok. Yep. Level 5 is Digdogger.
Yep.
Level 6 is Gliok with an extra
Oh,
head.
shit.
Level 7 is Aquamentus again.
Oh, shit.
Level 8... No, level 6, I got it wrong. Level 6 does have a Gliok with an extra head, but the boss is Red Goma. I was wrong.
Goma.
Level 8 also has a Gliok with an extra head and has Blue Goma. And then level 9 has Ganon. Dun, dun, dun.
So you don't remember the names of the dungeons, do you?
No, not at all.
Eagle, Moon, Manji, Snake, Lizard, Dragon, Demon, Lion, and then just Death Mountain.
Well, I could have told you Death Mountain, yeah.
But note, the Death Mountain, the skull, is shaped like the rock that you have to bomb.
Not really. I mean, kind of. Not so much.
I'm on the instruction book. And all these little hints, some of them weren't even relevant to us as kids, like Paul's voice. It says in this instruction book, a ghost with big ears and a weak point. He hates loud noise. And I remember as a kid, there's a million of them in the room.
You try to whistle.
I tried to whistle and
Doesn't do
nothing
anything.
happened. And the sword didn't hurt him, but the arrows hurt him just fine.
Because the Famicom had microphones in the controller.
Yep.
But the NES did not, and they didn't change it. So, yeah, you would shoot the arrow, and that was the way to kill him.
But there's so many just like hints and things to where a kid, you would read this book and puzzle over it. And the book was really part of the game. And a lot of people kind of forget the instruction book. This game was sort of a puzzle, and the book and the game together guided a young kid's mind through this exploration.
I think that what really makes the game is just that, when you're still discovering it, when you're still a kid and you've never played it before and you don't know the map, everything just feels so mystical. It's like, oh my God, the graveyard. Holy shit, there's a fucking, oh my God, look at this. And it's all like, woo, the graveyard.
That whole upper left area of the map scares me to this day a little bit.
Yeah, I
You
know,
feel like
right?
you shouldn't be up there. There's nothing over there.
It's like you uncover all these things and it's so like, it just has this feel to it. Like you have uncovered something mystical. I don't know what it is, but no other game has really pulled that off so much, I think it's a combination of like just the way the areas are presented to you and the way you reach them.
Well, they're so varied. Like every region kind of has this feeling. Every dungeon has its own like aesthetic to it.
Yeah, and it's like there's no one really out there. I mean, it's like you can talk to people, but
Well, old man and old woman.
but that's pretty much it, and they don't really help you that much. And they're so they speak in sort of rhymes and stuff. It's almost like a more like a labyrinthy kind of thing than a Metroid kind of thing.
Well, buy something, will you?
Oh right, that's not old man or old woman. That's fat guy,
Merchant?
fat merchant. Yeah. And then it's like you sort of like discover these things that like the game didn't tell you about them, but you discover them on your own. It's sort of like you just find this power bracelet out there. And it's like, oh shit, a power bracelet.
Plus, remember, there's never a game.
And you find like the secret shortcuts under the rocks, and it's like, oh shit, the game didn't tell me about this. You just discovered.
The whole game, you're playing around, you keep seeing these like docks, and you try to walk on them and nothing happens. And then later in the game, you find a raft, and you run around to all these docks and there's crazy shit out there.
Like you go to the east and there's just a heart container sitting out there. It's like, whoa.
You're trying to hit it with the boomerang.
Yeah, right?
Desperately.
And it's just crazy stuff. And like you can just walk through walls and there's 100 coins and all these. There's just so many things in the game that you'll stumble across that the game didn't tell you about. So you feel like you really discovered something. It's not like Metroid where you found a secret that you sort of had to find, or there's like, basically big glaring shiny things that say secret here, you need an item to get it, It's like you're actually discovering like these completely hidden things. It's like the same kind of feeling you get if you get the Minus World in Mario Brothers. It's like that's the feeling you get all over Zelda 1, no matter where you are. It's like you get a red ring. They didn't even tell you there was a fucking red ring, but you get it, and you turn red, and it's like, holy shit, he turned red, and now things barely hurt me.
Though, little known secret, you get the red ring, and that's why Zelda has a red dress on. She'll be whatever color your ring is.
Yep. Well, whatever color Link is, she'll match you, right? Because there's only so many.
Well, he must have a green ring on and have a red sword.
There's only so many colors in the palette,
Scott and I had an argument. This is one of the epic arguments of the front row crew. We're hanging out in Colony back at RIT, and you swore it was the wooden sword.
I did.
And I knew it was the red sword.
No, you didn't.
And we argued forever. And finally, I realized, we're arguing, the whole front row crew's there, and everyone's yelling, and they're like, red, and we're kind of split into two camps.
Red sword versus wood sword.
And finally, I remembered that I had the instruction book, and I got it, and I opened up to the page.
We could have just checked the internet, too.
And back then, yeah, I guess we could have. I think we poked around. We didn't see anything obvious.
Game
Plus,
facts.
we didn't trust game facts. We needed like a definitive source.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the Master Sword. It's the magical sword.
I knew that.
Yep. And then the white sword.
Which is
and
basically
the
white sword is basically the Master Sword.
And then it's just sword.
Well, it's sword, white sword, magical sword.
Yes, that was one of the most anticlimactic moments of my life.
You know what always bothered me is how the magic sword, it looked like a diagonal kind of thing, right? In the picture, up top.
Yep.
But when you actually used it in game, it just stabbed straight. It didn't stab in any particular, it wasn't diagonal like it was.
Because it was longer. Made it look cool and mystical.
I don't know. Whatever. It was weird. But yeah, Zelda 1 is totally sweet. And then it has a fucking second quest that the game doesn't tell you about, and where everything is totally fucked up and even more mystical.
Oh my god, the second quest is actually really fun.
Yeah. And
I got about 1/10 of the way through Zelda C before I gave up.
Oh, fuck Zelda C. I never beat the second quest when I was a kid because we could never find level 8. And you know what? Now
I wrote a letter to Nintendo Power.
Now that I know where level 8 in the second quest is, it's bullshit.
I beat the second quest legitimately. The only thing that I didn't figure out was I actually couldn't find the fucking silver arrows in Death Mountain.
Really?
So I sent a letter to Nintendo Power.
How did you find level 8? Level 8 is like, there's no way you could find level 8.
I don't know. I was a nerd. I'd spent a lot of time playing the game.
There was no way. Level 8 is just, oh my gosh.
The scariest part
I found
was,
level 9, but I couldn't get in because I didn't have the fragment from level 8.
It'd be easy to find later dungeons and hard to find earlier dungeons. You go into later dungeons, whiz robes everywhere.
Yeah, right? Oh, God. You go into a dungeon, just like 10 mummies, and you don't have anything.
Oh, Gibdo.
You have to stab Gibdo like 20 times.
I always love the Gibdo who's got the key in him. You're like, all right, Gibdo.
Or the bombs in him.
Yeah.
Suicide bombing mummy.
All right, Gibdo. Except he didn't light it.
I know.
He put him in, he wrapped up.
He should have.
Like,
He should have lit it and jumped and just followed you. If any bad guy actually had good AI and followed you and had a bomb in them, watch out.
I don't know. Some of the Dark Knights were a little hard to get. Oh, this game was so awesome. The whistle felt so like powerful, and the magic wand, like I was so crazy excited to get it till I realized it was basically just a white sword.
Well, no, what the magical wand allows you to do is
it's a white sword, and once you get the book, it says the fire.
That's right. It sets fire, but it's like you won't use if you wanted projectiles without having to be at full health, you'd have to use arrows, which cost money. But if you have the magic wand, you can have a projectile at any time.
But it's only a white sword projectile.
That's true. But it doesn't matter because, it's still a projectile when you don't have full health and doesn't cost money like the arrow does. So that's a good deal. Right?
I used to always laugh as a kid about pea hats.
Pea hats. Pay me for the door charge.
I never laughed at that.
Pay me for the door repair charge.
You don't laugh at that because you're a kid. I got my 300 rupees. I'm gonna buy that white ring or the blue ring. That door charge, I swear to God.
No, because you had a system. As soon as you had enough for the blue ring, you buy it. You don't stop anywhere because you know the door charge might be lurking.
I didn't know. I'd never run into it. Think about it. You don't know. There's no way for you to know if you've never found it, if you've just been lucky.
I guess there was a time when I got fucked by it. But you know what? You can just push the reset button and you go back to your save and you're good.
Nah. You don't do that.
Why not?
You don't do that.
Why not?
I just don't do that.
Why not? You got to do that, especially in a game that's a jerk like this. If you don't know what you're doing, I mean, you got to use every advantage you can get to uncover the secrets.
I do feel like, though, flipping through this instruction book that I'm holding in my hands yet again, anyone who's going to play Zelda 1 today, read the instruction book. Like, literally, read every word.
Yeah, I mean,
in
you
it.
don't want to use game facts because that ruins all the mystical parts because you basically know, you would already know everything. And I guess you kind of don't want to spend time burning every bush like I did. But
the thing is, you don't need to burn every bush because you can. The bushes that have stuff that really matters, they're the bushes that are kind of standing out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, like, oh, I went on this screen and there's a bunch of bushes and then there's one bush out on its own. And make sure you get the red candle so you can actually burn.
That's way later in the game, and I wanted money now.
Yeah, well, if you use the blue candle, you're going to be walking back and forth. Burn a bush. Didn't do anything. Leave the screen, come
and
back.
You know what?
Burn a bush.
It was worth it when I found that money.
Yeah. But yeah, you gotta have at least some hints, which are the hints that the book provides for you. You know, the beginning map area, location of level 1, right? Without that, if you just try to play from nothing, it's gonna be pretty impossible and frustrating.
But if you have the book, I mean, the one thing I will say is, as a kid, I beat this game. Like, not that, without that much
Man, when I
difficulty.
beat this game, it was so epic. Like, I had some friends who were over and they were watching. And the first time I beat it, I thought that you had to use the silver arrow only. So I beat Ganon using only silver arrow and no sword.
Really? I did the same thing.
Yeah. And then later, it was like, no, dude, you can just use sword. You only need to use silver arrow after he turns red. Spoiler, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think there's spoilers for that.
You don't think so?
Nah.
I wonder, is Ganon any harder in the second quest?
I don't know. Once I got the silver arrows, the only thing that really... Ganon was a lot easier than those fucking Petras all over Death Mountain.
Petras are easy, dude.
Not in the second quest.
Oh, they're different?
They're hard. They take more hits.
Oh, fuckers.
Yeah. Plus, Petra with whiz robes in the room.
Oh, God, fuck that.
Blue ones.
No! Nothing's harder than Blue Wizrobe.
Fucking blue whiz robe.
I mean, people are complaining about, like, Blue Knight. You can beat Blue Knight with friggin' magic sword and bomb.
Oh, my God. I remember you can get into, like, the back way of the later dungeon to get the book. But I would always bust into, like, a later dungeon to get the magic key. And I'd go in there with, like, a white sword, maybe not even the white sword, and just, like, try desperately to get through the game to get the magic key. Never have to deal with bullshit of getting keys for the whole rest of the game.
I like how, like, there are things that are not, they're optional items, It's not like you need to get the item to beat the level. Nowadays... Right? The way the Zelda games are structured, it's like you got to get the item, and without that item, there is no way you can get the big key, and you need the big key to go to the boss. In the old Zeldas, like, you could just go straight to the boss, kill him with the red sword, kill him with the arrow, you could do the swordless victory.
I killed a lot of the knights with bombs.
Yeah, right? It's like you can just do your own thing. You don't need to get the items.
You need the raft, you need the ladder to get to some areas.
You could neglect to get the bow in level 1. Go all the way to the end of the game, get the silver arrow, go to Ganon, and then be unable to kill him because you cannot have the bow.
Yep, you don't need the magic boomerang.
Yeah.
I love that magic boomerang.
You don't need the regular boomerang. You can just skip it.
Yeah.
The only things that you need
Same with the compasses and the maps and the letter to the little old lady.
Yeah.
It actually says letter to little old lady in the book.
You could basically ignore, like, the vast majority of the game. All you need to do to actually make it through the game is kill the bosses somehow with bomb, with something. So... and you get the Triforce pieces behind them. And that's it. I mean...
Well, I bet you'd like to carry more bombs.
I bet you would.
You gonna give up a heart container?
No. Well, man, take anyone you want. Red potion, heart container. I mean, seriously? Seriously?
What kid? I watched my friend Joe fucking Ogilvy
take the red potion?
He took the red potion.
Just punch him in the face.
I was like, what is wrong with you? He's like... Red potion takes a lot of money. And I was like, you realize there's no other way to get that heart container ever. You just fucked it. I don't think I said fucked it.
Obviously that person is not going far in life.
I don't know. I knew him when I was in, like,
He's working at a gas station now.
When I went to Catholic school, we lived in downtown Detroit.
Only people with full heart containers get salaried real jobs.
I would often beat the game without full heart containers.
Oh yeah, I guess early on, but now I know where they all are. So,
would you play Zelda? Like, do you feel like you should play Zelda 1 again? Like now?
I've played it recently.
How recently?
Pretty recent, less than a year ago.
I burned through Zelda 2 not that long ago. I burned through Zelda 3 pretty recently.
Zelda 2 is a little more painful.
I like Zelda 2 a lot.
You're the only one.
It's a good game.
Zelda 2 sucks. It doesn't suck, but it's
the one thing Zelda 1
it's so
does
much
not
more
have.
painful than any of the other
There's
Zeldas.
one thing Zelda 1 does not have that is good that Zelda 2 has. The single epic journey to get that motherfucking hammer.
Good God, the hammer.
Just the feeling. Every kid I knew, like everyone had gotten to the point of, I gotta go get the hammer, and no one could get it. And people were like, tonight, I got a plan. I think I know where the hammer is. I'm gonna go try and get it. There was no game facts back then.
No, you need a little map to get through all those caves, and every cave you go in that's unnecessary costs you health, and you got to use some magic. And
no kid was gonna tell anyone else the paths he'd found that got him closer to the hammer because he wanted to get it before everybody else got it.
Yep. And the thing that always hurt me is I played these Zelda games at other people's systems with other people's cartridges before I played them on my own system. So what happened was I would always like have the hammer already or have stuff already, and I wouldn't really know where to go or what to do next because I was in the middle of someone else's game, and it wasn't until I got them on my own that I really knew what was going on. I mean, the game even had a mystical quality in the gold cartridge, right?
Yeah, there were only 2 gold cartridges and 1 silver cartridge. Zelda and Zelda 2 were the gold ones.
Yeah, it's like no other game had that. So it's like it felt like some sort of magical and special game, and it kind of was. Probably still the best game. Well, I don't know if it's the best game ever, but it's definitely one of the best games ever.
It's an important game. I feel like there's still a lot to learn from Zelda. I feel like it for someone who's never played it before, it is well worth playing. Of course, Emily now is going through that transition. I mean, she's playing, she's played the new Zeldas.
I don't think she played Zelda 1.
Not yet, but she's playing Zelda 3.
All right.
Because that's a more accessible Zelda, I think, than Zelda 1.
Definitely.
It's easy to forget how balls hard that game is if you are not awesome at video games.
Oh, Super Nintendo Zelda is not really that hard.
For someone who's not awesome at video games, it's pretty
hard.
hard.
So it's not awesome at video games. Mario 1's going to be hard. I mean, come on.
How many people have beaten Mario 1? I'll bet if we go to PAX and we're like, how many people in this room have actually beaten Mario 1? Me? I think you'd be sadly surprised.
The same number of people who watched Evangelion at the anime convention.
Or people who hadn't seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
God, we're old.
Yeah, but actually, you know what? I bet most people at any convention have not played Zelda 1 and beaten it.
Yeah.
Well,
I had never beaten Zelda 2 until RIT when I announced it for the RIT.
I thought you said that you beat it before and then you're just beating it again at RIT.
No, I'd gotten up to the Thunderbird, not past.
Oh, well then. How about that?
Yeah, you never beat it.
I beat it.
When?
I forget.
Uh-huh.
You fight the Shadow Link and then you win.
All right, who else is standing on the screen after you fight the Shadow Link? Like, who talks to you?
Error.
I think we're petering out here. This was kind of a lazy show. I'll be honest.
Yeah, the point is that Zelda 1 is awesome, and like if you haven't played Zelda 1, seriously, what the?
And plus,
I just know in my heart that a scarily small number of people have played Zelda 1, and a scarily even smaller number have beaten it.
Go find a scan of the instruction book. Scott, look at this cute Link just kind of standing there like, hey,
the instruction book art was so great. Oh my gosh.
And if only there'd been a Zelda anime that was just the anime-looking art from this book.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, not
artist. Zelda 1 is win.
All right. I think by Thursday, we'll be awake and back on track with the more energetic Geeknights as usual. This This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.